Hey, Dylan, let's get this thing kicked off, my friend. Looks like people are joining us live here. This is always a lot of fun. So, as people are
Always.
filling up the room, let's just do a quick audio visual check. So, somebody in the chat box, just let us know that you can hear us, that you can see our screen, and then we'll jump right into it. Dylan, what's going on, man?
Everything's good on my end. Just excited to get into this. A lot of great presentations today.
I mean, we have an all-star lineup today. Roy says all good. Mark says all good. Thank you both. Sounds great. So let me go ahead and just jump right into it, guys. Go ahead and find that chat box, like I said, because throughout the presentation, different presentations today, you may have questions. That's the best place to put them. We have several different speakers. They're going to be sharing all kinds of different topics. So we're excited to jump into it. So officially, welcome to the monthly masterclass. This one is brought to you by sellerunderground.com. We're going to jump straight into strategies and content. We're going to talk about the schedule. And I just want to let you know that today is probably one of the best lineups we've had in a long time. So stick around for all the speakers. It's going to be really, really good. If you haven't been with us or you kind of need a refresher here, let me remind you that every month we're bringing you the best experts and entrepreneurs around the industry to share the best strategies for growth on and off of Amazon. And the format is as follows as usual. We have anywhere between 2 and 5 guest speakers. Today, I think we have 5. Each guest speaker will share from between 20 and 45 minutes, depending on how big their topic is. The topics will center around creating more profits on Amazon and e-commerce, things like that. Sometimes it'll be kind of a wild idea, though, because we think it's worthy of your attention. And it's all with the intent to get you to think outside of your box. Like, so easy to get trapped into your own little box of thinking because we spend a lot of time as an e-commerce entrepreneur in our own little world, right? So we want to expand your mind and get you thinking about different opportunities that can help you grow. All right, here's something important. This is literally to help you. We don't accept affiliate commissions. You can ask every single person who's speaking on the masterclass. They're not here because they paid to be here, and they're not here because they're paying us any commission on anything that they're doing. It's literally because we think that it can help you in some way grow your business, reach your goals. So just wanted to point that out. If you're not in one of our strategy groups, we announce the master classes there. We also drop different hacks and strategies over time. You can join one of those WhatsApp groups by scanning this QR code or by going to joinprivategroup.com. Dylan, if you don't mind, drop that link into the chat box so it's easy for
On it.
everyone. One more thing here before we jump straight into strategy is if you want to see past masterclasses, if you want to catch up on what we've been up to and what other experts in the industry have been sharing on these masterclasses, you can just go to this URL at the top of the screen here, which is postpurchasepro.com/MC for masterclass. Also, on that link right now, there's a special banner at the very top, and it's going to allow you to register for a session that Sean and I are hosting tomorrow. And it's about one strategy that Amazon sellers are not using, but they should be. We've been using it for the last several months, and it's working extremely well. And it can permanently increase your sales and ranking. And I literally mean permanently. And you'll see why when we get there tomorrow. It's not something that we've shared publicly before. So if you go to postpurchasepro.com/MC, you can check out the banner. Let me grab that. Or Dylan, if you can grab the link for everybody there and drop it in the chat box as well. Just make it clickable. Guys, all of the replays are below, but at the top, like I said, you can register for that session that we're doing tomorrow. It's a training session. It's literally a way to increase your sales on Amazon. I highly recommend it. And then let's talk about what's going on today. So today, guys, we have, like I said, a really good lineup. We have Brian Johnson, co-founder of DeepM. We have Adrian, the COO of AdFixer, Kusha, the CEO of Kazam, and Afolabi, the co-founder of Honu Worldwide. They're going to be talking about a wide variety of topics, but all centered around making you more money in your Amazon business, in your e-commerce business. I'm super excited about it. So Dylan, let's go ahead and jump into our first speaker today, which is Mr. Afolabi, the co-founder of Honu Worldwide. Let's bring him up now. So Afolabi, if you don't mind, go ahead and start your camera. And then I'm going to turn this over to you, my friend, and allow you to share what you've prepared today. You can do a screen share. You have about 30 minutes. And then after
Okay.
that, we're going to transition to the next speaker. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Seth. Thank you, Dylan. I'm happy to be here. Can everyone hear me okay, right?
You sound great.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to, even though I'm going to do a screen share, uh, the screen share is just for us to have something after the session that people can download. I'm not going to go through the slides. I'm just going to pick each one and I'm going to do like a demo of how this little trick has helped me a lot. Let me try and share my screen now. Right here. Okay. So I'm guessing
Well, this looks exciting. The 5-minute task that made me $275,000 every year instantly. I love it. All right, Afolabi, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome, awesome. All right, great. So this is a really simple thing that many people ignore, or many sellers, whether you're selling on Amazon or you're selling Shopify, anyone that is importing products from another country, this will really, really benefit you a lot. So I'm going to run through it. In case you don't know me, I love creating and manufacturing innovative products. I'm obsessed with finding good quality products at bargain prices. I co-founded with Norm Farad, the big beard guy. We have a 3PL facility here, and we do all sorts of things. I've owned and sold a few seven-figure, brands. I make a lot of products. I import a lot of products. I've made a lot of mistakes. So this is our new facility that we're moving into next month, actually. It's like an 8,000 pallet 3PL facility, and we do a lot of kitting and bundling and all this kind of stuff. So you can read all this later about us. This is just a wheel that explains what we do. Well, let's jump in right now to this 5-minute task. And you only have to do this maybe once for your product, and you can enjoy the benefit over and over again, just as I did. A little bit of what this task would do for you so that you can really take it make it, don't take it lightly. Take this very seriously. It will increase your profit instantly. And you will see why when I said instantly. It will skyrocket your brand's value like overnight. And I'll show you how it did to my brand. It will help you research and launch product with accurate cost of goods. It will help you to price out your competitors. Some of your competitors are probably using these tricks on you, and you don't know why their price is so low or how they're getting what they're getting. You're wondering, but I'll show you. It will also help you find hidden gems and diversify your sourcing. You help you change your production schedule for maximum savings. Many of us, we just produce or we order products just anyhow without really timing it perfectly. But this little trick will help you plan better, and it will help you keep you out of trouble with the law. That's my favorite part. Most likely, it will help you fire your freight forwarder. I hope it doesn't have to come to that, but maybe it will. Now, full disclosure, this trick actually made us over $700,000 in this 5 minutes, and I'll show you how to do it. But let me give you my story, how it all started. This was my brand before I sold it. So if you go on Amazon now, maybe the new owner has this brand now. But this used to be my brand from 2016 to 2021 before I sold it. And I just noticed that we were paying a lot in freight. So I decided to dig a little deeper to see, how we can save money anytime we get our freight bill is really high. So I started digging, and we were paying about 31% in import duty for 2 of our products. This means we were paying about $250,000 in import duty to the US government on a $1 million purchase order. That's a lot of money. And I know you pay duties too, unless your forwarder is doing something funny, which I wouldn't advise you to do. So I found something on my customs entry form. The form is called Form 7501. So when I read the product description my freight forwarder had put on my customs entry form, what I found really shocked me. My entry form was saying that I was importing photographic plates and film, not elsewhere specified or indicated, and blah, blah, blah. You see the long description of what what the customs entry form says I was importing. But as you can see, that's not what I'm importing. My product is dry erase boards, the ones they use in schools and hospitals and stuff like that. And for having a wrong description of my product, I was paying 31% in duty every single year, anytime I bring products in. So after much digging through over 13,000 lines of customs codes, I finally found the correct one my forwarder should have been using in the first place. And I knew I had hit a jackpot. What happened? My import duty rate went down from 31% to 3.5% instantly. So I had been losing $275,000 every year up until this point. And I did not know it because, most of us, we get our bills from our freight forwarder or our shipper. We don't even check to know, if it was right or wrong. We don't know even if they're smuggling your products into the country. You don't even know. You just assume that, oh my God, oh, that's Trump tariff. I guess I have to pay it. But if you really look deeper, you might be paying the wrong duty and not know it. In my own case, that was what happened. Now, let me show you what the Form 7501 looked like. This is what it looks like. If you go to Section 28 of that form, it's just a one-page, maximum two-pager if you have a lot of products on that entry form. Every time your forwarder brings in your product into the US, he has to complete this form. He has to complete it and give you a copy of this form. Ask him for it. If you've never seen this form before, you better start looking at it. So this is your HTS code. Look, let me go back. This 10-digit number is your HTS code. It's called the Harmonized Tariff System Code. This is the code that they use to classify every single product coming into the US. Every product on the planet coming into the US must be classified by a series of 10-digit code. And this here is the duty rate that is assigned to this code. And this is your product description on top of this code: writing boards, slates, and boards or writing surfaces. If this product description on your form is wrong, or it does not describe the products you're selling, that's trouble. Trouble in two ways. You may be overpaying, or you may be underpaying the US government. If you're overpaying, the US government will not give you your money back. In many cases, you might fight it. There are some exceptions that you might be able to get some money back, maybe within 60 days or 30 days of filing, but it's not a guarantee. Or you may be underpaying, which will make you be violating what they call the False Claims Act of the US Customs Law. So if you're underpaying, whether you know it or not, your freight forwarder is declaring the wrong value of your goods, or is declaring the wrong description of your product. If the customs stops you and they investigate further, they will make you pay for the last 5 years plus additional penalties on top of it. That could completely wipe out your business. So you have to take this really seriously. Let's look at some real case scenarios. So I have some friends that I did this for after they learned about what I did and how I was, how I started saving by using this. This is what happened. So let's look at some real products we, recently classified. So this guy was selling a baby stroller right here. When I checked out his customs form, the freight forwarder was using a customs code that is for national flag. And I'm like, are you selling a national flag? He's like, no, I'm selling a baby stroller. I'm like, so why are you paying a customs duty for national flags? He's like, I've never seen this form before. Anyway, he was able to, after I reclassified the product for him, he was able to save $145,000 instantly every year. Every single year, this is real money going back to his pocket because now he's paying the right duty rate. He's now paying 4% in duty rate. There's another guy, a friend of mine in Miami. He sells a lot of something that looks like this cup. And I looked at his documentation. So ceramic and porcelain are very close. They're different, but they're very close materials when they're making cups and mugs and stuff. His broker was using the word ceramic instead of using the word porcelain. That was costing him $16,800 on every shipment. He was supposed to be paying 9.8%. He's paying 32.5% for using the word ceramic instead of using the word porcelain. There is another guy right here. This product looks like is, but I'm not using the exact product of these customers just to kind of protect their privacy. His freight forwarder was using incorrect words to describe his product because the freight forwarder is a non-English speaking person, so he just doesn't know the right way to interpret or to describe this product to the US customs. So, he just used some random numbers, and it was costing this guy $32,170 every single time he imports this product. So upon reclassifying it, you can see how much savings are going back into their pocket. Took 5 minutes to find these things, to go and look into your form and find accurate description that your freight forwarder or your shipper has been giving to the US government, so that you can start paying the right one. So I just showed you our new facility, and another thing this would help you to do is you can diversify your sourcing. You don't have to buy some products from China. China is not the only place to buy products. If you discover that your duty rate from China is attracting a huge tariff, you can check it out in another country. So our building rack, our warehouse rack, for our 3PL facility, these racks, we saved $62,000 in duties just by finding out the correct duty code and knowing that we could buy this in Vietnam. Vietnam has 3% duty rate on these steel structures. You see how the savings can mount up a lot, right? So I'm trying to see if I can do like a demo of how to find these duty rates the regular way. But anyway, this question of the day is, you can put it in the chart. If two sellers sell the same exact product, is it possible for one to pay 6% while the other one paid 31 or even 40%? That's the question of the day. You can type your answer in the chat. I know you know the answer already. Yes, this is one of the reasons why your competitor could sell for a lower price than you, is using tariff as a leverage. Is investing into rightly classifying his product. Now, you may be thinking, what are the reasons why you may be overpaying and not know it? Well, I have probably mentioned it. Your freight forwarder is committing a serious crime and making money off of you. Some freight forwarders would, so that they can give you the cheapest shipping rate, they would not even declare your product to the US Customs. They'll get certain money from you and they will pay the US Customs something less. Let me go forward. The second reason is that your customs agent is just too lazy, or your freight forwarder. They're just too lazy to research and find you the correct HTS code for your products. Honestly, there's no incentive for them to do it because they're not the ones paying the duties. So I found that most, forwarders will not do it unless you really, really press them hard to find it for you. The third one is, some of these shippers or brokers or whatever, they're just not smart enough because the US duty system or tariff system is very complex. And if they don't know what they're doing, I mean, you're talking about 13,000 lines of codes to sift through to be able to find you the perfect thing. So why is it hard to classify your products? I just said it, there's 13,000 lines of codes. It's very overwhelming. It's very time consuming. It could be confusing. They're constantly updating this system every month with new rules, special programs, rate suspensions, exclusions, rate expiry dates, stuff like that. And also these days entrepreneurs are, they are, very creative in using unconventional materials to make their products. So all these materials, all these products, these unique products that are being made by you guys, the US customs are not catching up to it really fast. For example, you could make maybe a glasses, the frame of a glasses, you could probably use a bamboo to make the frame. And this may not be inside the US code system yet because it's an innovative product, right? So how do you classify it? What if your product is a bundle or a kit? How do you do it? What if your product is a wooden toy and it's also a sports equipment and it's also an educational product? What HTS code would you apply to it? You see how it gets really complicated? What if my product is 60% wood and 30% plastic? What if I use a generic material to invent a new product? How do you classify that? What code do you use? And now the scary part, before we go into maybe if we have any question and answer, is that this actually just came out today. I just found it today, so I said I'll share it with you guys. Look here, look at here. The Customs and Border Protection Agency, that's US Customs, completed 20 audits in April alone that identified 13 million in duties and fees owed to the US government, stemming from goods that have been improperly declared in accordance with US trade laws and customs regulations. CBP collected over $5 million of this identified revenue from previous fiscal year's assessment. So what they did was they went back several years since the time you've been selling that product. That is, if your broker or your forwarder or your consolidator, I see many people use consolidators in China warehouses, and they're not declaring to the US government what your product really are. They're kind of falsifying the documents. They're shipping your products together with other products that are of low duties, and they're kind of falsifying the documents. If they ever get stopped, you are going to be the one in trouble. They are sitting in China. Nobody can touch them, but you are, if you're in the US and the customs stops your product, first, they'll impound it. They will not let you get it out. And second, they will go back as far as 5 years. All the shipments you've been making, they'll collect everything. They'll collect the right duty on it. And they will also add a lot of penalties and fees to make you pay, right? So I put in a lot of data. In 2022 alone, 46,000 shipments were seized, 2.9 billion worth of cargo, 18,000 plus liquidations on impounded cargoes. That means they'll direct your cargo to a place and they'll go liquidate it there. But let's go to this 5 minutes thing. This you can download later. Let's go straight to how to do this 5 minutes task, okay? Because I know we have like 10 minutes, but I want to use it for either questions from our audience. You can do it by yourself, or you can have your VA do it for you. All right, so I told you how CBP Form 7501 is. Request it from your freight forwarder or your shipper. Tell them to give you the most recent shipment, to give you the CBP Form 7501. It's called the Customs Entry Declaration Form. You can do it for your best-selling products. You don't have to do it for all the products. If you know these are your best sellers, these are like the 80-20 rule. The 20% of your catalog accounts for 80% of your income. So you can do it for the 20% that are the top sellers for you. Look at sections 28, 33, and 34. This is where you're going to see the current HTS code they're using to classify your product description, and the duty rate you're paying, and how much you paid in duty. All right. So ask your forwarder to send you this form. Look at all these sections. And then the next thing to do is, when this happened to me, and I saw that how this was very difficult to do, so I actually developed an app to help you. I created this app from scratch. Even customs broker don't have this app. I went to 2 months ago, I went to a customs brokerage event in Florida, and they were blown away by this app because there is nothing like it in the market. I had to design it from scratch because it was just a pain to navigate through US customs. But anyway, just sign up. It's free. When you copy your HTS code, sign up in this app. You can use if you have Gmail, you can sign up with your Gmail, or you can scan this QR code. It will take you straight to sign up. It's free sign up. And then when you get in the app, just click on duty rate lookup and click on the free HTS lookup. And then right here, this is where you will dump your HTS code you got from your CBP Form 7501. Just dump your HTS code here and then select your country of origin for your product. If you're importing from China, select China and just click on view your US tariff rate. It's going to tell you exactly how much tariff rate you should be paying. And it's going to also show you the product description for that HTS code. If the product description of that HTS code does not match your product, that's how you know you're paying the wrong duty rate. Immediately you will know. So what to do next if you know that you're paying the wrong duty rate? You can either submit, just click on hire us to classify your product. You can either submit it here, and we don't charge unless we find you savings. So it's a free audit, especially for this recording. Anybody watching this recording, it's free for us to do the audit for you. If your HTS code is perfect and there's nothing to change, you're paying the right duty, there's no error, we don't charge anything. It's a free service for you so that you can start saving. Now, I want to ask you a question real quick before we go into questions. I think we have like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Before we go into questions, what happened to me was, you remember I saved over $275,000 instantly when I reclassified my product. Now, when I was about to sell that brand in 2021, I sold off that brand at 4.2 multiple. 4.2x multiple was how much I was offered for that brand. Now, $275,000 in savings times 4.2, how much would that come up to be? See what I mean? It was a lot of money. So not only are you saving yourself instantly on duty rate, you're also tremendously increasing your products, your brand value instantly. Your brand, if you're able to find yourself any savings at all, just multiply that savings by maybe 3x or 4x, whatever you think your multiple would be. That is how much you will get out when you exit that brand. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to put all the instruction here for you to check it out. Just free sign up, go check it out. We help you do it. It's 100% risk-free for you. For this, we're doing $100 off. So if we find you a lower rate, no matter how much you're saving, even if you're saving $1 million a year, it's a flat rate for you. One time, $399 flat. Just remember, you use this coupon code PPP100. Remember, if we don't find you savings, you don't owe nothing. Okay, these are some of my friends, some of the people that have used it. We've done it for a lot of companies now, and they're enjoying the savings. But I want us to go into questions immediately. So, does anybody have questions? Seth? Dylan? You're on mute, Dylan?
Yeah, sorry about that. The first thing I was thinking about when you were talking about those savings that some of the people that have worked with you got was the fact that that dropped straight to the bottom line. And I like that you pointed out the multiple too, because when you go to sell your business, that's a really big, thing that you could add. You save 275 times 4, it's another $1 million.
Yep. I saw another thing we noticed is that brands doing over $500,000 a year, when they saw these, they were like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Because they realized that, oh my God, if I can just save, even if I save $10,000 per product, it's a huge, huge savings. And also it gives you peace of mind, right? If the US Customs stops your cargo, you're compliant, you're not doing anything shady or anything funky. You get to sleep better at night. And then there's also a way to do it online by yourself. It's just very complicated. If we have time, I can do a demo. You just go to I'll post it here actually in the group. Just go to hts.usitc.gov. That's how to do it by yourself. You don't have to sign up in this app. If you go to that government website, you just have to dig a little bit. It might take you hours to finally find it. Another thing is just that our app, if you do it through our app, we are also monitoring your products all year round. So not only are you finding savings, if your duty rate changes, all of a sudden, if there's a new law, a new rule or whatever changes, and there's like a 25% duty rate surcharge, you will be able to know immediately and you can react fast. You can quickly say, you know what, I'm not making this product from China anymore. I'm going to Indonesia or Thailand or whatever to go make this product, because you're quickly aware that something has changed in the US regulation. And so it's monitoring it 24/7 to make sure that you're well informed, should in case anything happens to your product.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Does anybody have any questions? Now would be the time. If not, we can move straight into Brian's presentation, which is also going to be a really exciting one. But this one has been a really nice hack that I think you should really just take the time to check this out, because you have to do it one time per product, and it could be free money that you're paying out to the US government when it could be in your pocket.
Yep. And I learned my lessons, and I see now a lot of 7, 8, 9-figure brands doing it now, because they know it's major, because many of these brands want to exit eventually. And even if they're saving $500,000, you multiply that by 4, that's $2 million in value just added to your brand, like immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately, yeah.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Afolabi. This has been fantastic. Where can people reach out to you if they do want to get in contact?
I would type my email here in the group chat, or you can just go to that app.
Uh-huh.
You can reach out to us through that app, or you can send me an email here. Either Afolabi at Honu Worldwide or savings at Honu Worldwide. Yep, those two emails work really well.
Awesome. See that here? I'm going to drop that in the chat for everyone. Amazing.
All right. Thank you so much, Dylan. Thank you, Seth. I hope you guys have a great time with Brian and other speakers coming after.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been great. I really loved the presentation.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Brian, oh, sorry.
Now I want to stop sharing.
All righty. Brian, you ready to go?
I think I am. Give me 1 second here to make sure.
Yeah, no worries. Yours is one I've been pretty excited to see what you guys have been working on because it's been a little bit behind closed doors.
It's, yeah, 100% behind closed doors. You're absolutely right on that. Yeah, this is something. So for those who are not aware of this, sorry, I just want to try to get my. I know I'm going to embarrass myself with some slide that I forgot to hide or something like that, but we'll see here. But so for those who aren't familiar with my career, frankly, it's not your job to follow. So, so just kind of really quick. So I've been in e-commerce for about 17 years, Amazon for the last 10 years. Most of what I'm known for is bringing out solutions, training courses, agency. Have had progressive success with each company. And I've either been acquired on a few previous projects, or actually I was acquired on all of them. let's put it that way. So it's not really public or well known, but I retired from Canopy Management, which Canopy Management is a great organization as far as an advertising agency, and we built it up to the point where we hit Inc. 500 2 years in a row, which was pretty cool. So a lot of success there, but I went ahead and I retired back in March. So not too long ago, just a couple months ago, retired from Canopy, and so that I could continue on a project that I've been working on for the last 20 months, I think 21 months, something like that I've been working on from a technology play once again. So go back into the software side. I've always been the software side, but this is like the big serious project that I'm working on. So let me go ahead and share my screen because I know we're under the gun here. There it is. All right, let me know. Oops. Okay, is it showing the taco sauce slide?
Yeah, I see the Tapatio on there.
Okay, cool. So I thought I had a little bit of fun with this. So I'm essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to talk about some new metrics to analyze your business by that we've discovered through the short version. I mean, I'll go at the end as far as a little bit more if we have time, as far as what we're doing at DeepM and why you should care. But mostly what I want to do is I want to teach you a new way of looking at your profitability, and that includes what affects your advertising spend versus the sales that comes out of that, the net sales that comes out of that, and how that also affects things like search rank. And so I'll get into both of these. So let me see if I can fly through these pretty quick here. All right. So what I'm calling it is I'm going to call it taco sauce. So the recipe here that I'm going to talk about here is measuring it's actually ACO SAS, but I'm calling it taco sauce because, why not? Having some fun with it. And on that same theme is keeping the best tasting sauce for yourself. I know, probably abusing this analogy, but discover the competitor's recipe, and then of course, how do you ultimately spice up your listing and your advertising in order to get a much better effect than what you're getting now, right? Now, I'm not going to go into the whole history as far as like how did we get here, but I can tell you is that a lot of the advertising and promotional methods that a lot of brands use on Amazon is now outdated, right? So it is, there's better methods. Usually it requires, better data. There's certainly some awesome tools that have come out and technology that has developed. That's one of the reasons why we were able to do the data research and come up with things like this, and is because of the big data analysis that we chose to take on with considerable cost and effort in order to achieve it. So let me kind of get into the meat of this so that you actually start getting some things you can take away on this. So I want to reframe as far as how you are currently looking at the way that you're measuring the success of your brand on Amazon. The typical focus that most brands are taught and follow is, okay, I have my advertising spend and I get advertising dollars. That's my ACOS, right? I have the advertising spend against my total catalog sales across the entire Seller Central account, often referred to as tacos. And that's just the ad spend against the total account sales. But there's actually something in between here that is often overlooked. And so that's what I'm calling the ACOSAS, or taco sauce, as it may be. And that is combining, taking the ad spend and compare the ad spend to what you're getting from both a search sales plus your ad sales. Search sales is now something that you can get a pretty good picture of. There's no report that's going to be all inclusive. So let me kind of clarify the doubt on that one. Is that there's no Amazon report that is fully comprehensive and 100% accurate. That's just not the way they work. But we can see, as the last speaker mentioned, as far as like the Pareto, the 80-20, we can see where the majority of search sales. Now, search sales, we're going to define here a little bit different. So what we typically, historically, what we've called organic sales. And there's some debate in the community as far as what is organic sales versus ad sales versus search sales versus everything else. I would say that anything that requires a search term in order to get to it in the search grid, that shows either it can show an ad, that would be ad sales, right? If a sale for a product comes through on a clicked ad, and then you have everything else as far as like the organic or the natural search results that come up in search results. Those are what we're referring to as ad sales, and we can get a good glimpse of that, a good 80% view through things like search catalog, search query, search term impression share. Some of these additional reports that if you haven't really started digging those into those yet, you really do need to. And sometimes we just need to take a different look at it. And that's kind of what I'm presenting here with the taco sauce is go back and take a second look at how your ad spend from your campaigns is producing not just ad sales, right? Don't abandon the ACOS metric. Simply just compare it to ACOSAS, which is the ad sales plus the search sales data, right? That data is available. What I want you to do then is, and you can get those, as I mentioned, through search query performance, search term impression share, search catalog performance. Some of these kind of reports will tell you. That'll give you a metric that's in the middle here. So let me kind of jump forward here. One area that we see, there's multiple things that we've discovered in our research, but one of the areas that we're looking at is how your ad spend will have a secondary bump or a secondary benefit to your ad sales as well as your search sales. So as I mentioned before, what you want to do, and this is something that we do automatically within DeepM, but I'll talk about that in a minute. You can go in and you can pull your existing campaigns, and you can look at things like the search term impression share to see for search, what are the search terms, what kind of ad spend is occurring, what kind of engagement you're getting, what kind of sales that you're getting from that. And you can measure as far as on across the brand, across all the campaigns, you can measure it across the individual search terms and the products, what kind of, essentially what your ACOS is or what your return on the ad spend is going to be. Take that, now go back and take a look at things like your search query performance as an example. And we take this down all the way down to the ASIN level, but you could also do it at the brand level. And you can look at the search terms and you can compare the search terms you can add the search terms that show up in search term impression share with the search terms that show up in search query performance, assuming the same dates and everything. And you can see the cumulative effect. There's a common debate as far as like, do the reports overlap? We've tested this thousands of times now, and we do not see, we don't have a belief that there is overlap. Now, please, anybody who's got better data or different set of data, please reach out to me, because I just want to know. I don't want to be right. I want to be I want to be the one that's just claiming something, and I want to be correct. I want to be accurate on this. So, but what we see on this is you can compare your ad spend against your ad sales and your search sales. And if you combine those two, you can see where there's a much bigger net effect as a result of your ad spend that's going to increase. Now, one of the things that we also see over time is that eventually your ad sales will peak. In other words, they'll level off. Because it just won't, you won't get any more juice out of the squeeze. Your ad sales will taper off, but your search sales will continue to increase. The reason that your search sales increase is in part because there is a net effect on your search rank for those search terms on the products. Now, I'll get into why there's a lot more that goes into that, but the goal here is to have your search sales continue to expand, continue to grow beyond your ad sales, which is growing to a point, to a limit above what you're spending from an ad spend standpoint. Okay.
Hey, Brian, do you have a second for a quick question?
Please. Yeah.
So Mike and Bart were asking, they don't understand the difference between the new term taco SaaS versus tacos don't both divide ad spend by total revenue.
No. So with so tacos is going to combine three different things. It's going to combine, you're going to have your ad sales in there, you're going to have your search sales in there, and you're going to have your non-search sales. So things as far as like sales that come through external channels that didn't require a search query, where somebody clicks through on a brand catalog or their store and they make a purchase, they didn't use a search term in that. So those are non-search. So total sales includes everything that includes ad sales, search sales, and non-search sales. And generally what we do is we as a brand, we take either the small metric or the big metric. We either go ACoS and localize only on the ad sales, or we jump all the way up to ad sales plus search sales plus non-search sales. And what I'm suggesting is you add on a measure for taco sauce, and you measure the ad sales and the search sales so you can see the net effect of your ad spend. Does that help clarify? Hopefully that clarifies.
That helps.
They are going to be three completely different numbers.
Yeah, thank you. That helps a lot with clarification between the two.
Cool. Glad to break off and have that conversation, WhatsApp group, whatever. I can definitely go into more detail on that. So ad sales, search sales, kind of beat that one to death. The second thing on this is also look at where you're advertising versus what you're not advertising. You may have average ads that are running on your hero products, but you may be either intentionally or non-intentionally not advertising or not getting visibility or ad spend on some of your other sibling products underneath the same parent, right, in the same family. And what we see is there is a definite benefit to observing if you spend ad dollars in a campaign, you will have ad spend that will advertise whatever product you're specifically advertising. And many of you are already familiar with things like the purchase product report will tell you that, okay, you advertised on ASIN number 1, but it was ASIN number 2 or number 3 or number 4 in your catalog that actually got the sale, right? It's important to periodically check purchase product report inside of your advertising reports. But one of the things that we observed when we started looking at all the data, and we literally look at for each, the viewpoint we look at is a catalog in a specific browse node or specific subcategory of products. And that means that we collect and we analyze 20 to 30 million data points. Not generally feasible by a human team, but the technology has advanced over the last few years that has allowed us to accomplish this. But what we can see on this is not only do you have where you're promoting a specific, your target ASIN, let's say, you're running ads against a specific ASIN, against a specific product. And in reality, what you're getting is you are getting a combination, again, ad sales and search sales. You're getting some additional ad sales on some of those other products, right? Pretty easy to see through purchase product report. But you're also getting additional search sales because oftentimes what happens, and we didn't know that this was the case until a lot of research and data collection, is what we didn't see is that when you are promoting a product, Amazon likes to slow play you. In other words, you'll see an immediate uptick in ad sales on your ad spend, right? We expect that, right? I'm spending money. I want the sales to come out of it. The question has always been, the theory is like, well, ad sales increases unit sales velocity. Therefore, it increases search rank, which would then lead to search sales. Okay. Hopefully everybody's with me on that concept. However, what we actually observed is Amazon likes to slow play. In other words, I advertise for product number one, my hero product, and I'm expecting the ad sales. And because of some of the other tuning that we do with DeepM is that we are expecting the search rank to increase and to get search sales. And we would see that, but it would be delayed about 6 weeks. How many of you jump in, they do some kind of promotion, you hire a service, whatever, and you give them 4 weeks to prove themselves? Amazon has already observed that. They already know you're trying to game the system by you doing something temporary. And so they slow played it. And so we're seeing about 6 weeks out, this is average, it varies. About 6 weeks out, all of a sudden, the search sales for the product that you advertise suddenly just pops up, right? But when we went back and studied that, it's like, why? What triggered that? We actually found that all the siblings around that product that was being advertised, their search sales, search rank and search sales were increasing the whole time. So that's why we get this kind of thing where you have the recommended. In other words, these are your advertised or your target product is the yellow one. And that one we see growing over time, but there might be a delayed effect. But then the other products, the siblings, will also grow, and sometimes they'll pop later on as well. And we can compare that to against the whole catalog, the one in blue, and we can see like when you combine the right observation and the right optimization, you see a massive effect on the entire product family. So that's something that you definitely want to appreciate is there a difference in if I spend ad dollars, am I just getting ad sales or even ad sales plus search sales on my target ASIN, or is the whole product lifting up? You want to go in and observe that, right? You're going to see a whole new wealth of information so you can make better decisions in how you optimize your listings and your campaigns. All right. Did everybody caught up on that one? I realize it's some of the stuff might be new, it might require some additional discussion. I'm open to that. Some of the things we identified about 30 different ranking factors. So our system, because of the amount of data collect and the way that we analyze it, we've actually been able to reverse engineer about 80% of how A9 ranks products on Amazon. And I know people said it's like, oh yeah, no, I figured I solved for A9. We actually did it from a data approach, and we found a couple of things. One is each subcategory has a different set of priorities, a different set of weights on what matters most to A9 for that subcategory. We didn't expect that. We expected there to be kind of a common theme as far as like, oh yeah, conversion rate is number one, unit sales velocity is number two. And frankly, we commonly see that, and that those are typically in the top 5. They're not always. The sequence of whether or not the title being optimized makes a significant difference in search rank varies from one category to another. Sometimes it's the bullet points that make a bigger difference. Sometimes it's the browse node or the category alignment. Sometimes it's the way that you turn on and off coupons. We've got, like I said, 20 to 30 million data points we've analyzed. We've seen a lot on this. And so these are some of the common ones. In fact, I'll jump ahead here is if you're going to just without This is something as far as knowing what is specific to your subcategory. You can only do that through big data analysis. That's what DeepM offers, and that's what I'll talk about here at the end. But in the meantime, what you can do is some of the ranking factors that we see most commonly occurring are things like conversion rate. Duh, not a big surprise there, right? Unit sales velocity, again, duh. BSR, bestseller rank. But there's other things like what I talked about as far as like the family, the siblings, performance that lifts things. That affects it. There's a lot of different things when it comes to title, features, description, optimization, and there's a whole bunch of data science terminology that I can get into, but I'm not going to here. There's things as far as like GeoRank, proximity, these kind of things. GeoRank actually has from what we've seen and what we've observed, has a pretty minor impact, as does price, surprisingly. But there's things like promotion oscillation, which is like turning on a coupon for 30 days, turning it off for 30 days, turning it back on, off, on, right? Amazon likes you to focus on a target set of search terms, optimize your listing according to those target set of search terms, promote both on and off Amazon, those specific search terms, and stick with it for at least 6 weeks, right? Not this honeymoon period, not this, hey, I'm going to do something for a month, at least 6 weeks before it'll actually take you seriously that you're absolutely focused on, this is my objective, is I want to rank so I get search sales for the products that I'm promoting. All right, hopefully that some of that sunk in. This is my offer. First of all, I want you to go back and implement some of the things that I was teaching you here, because I think it is important. It does require some data analysis. We can definitely help you on this because we have a system that we are still in a closed beta. So it's by invitation only. We don't have necessarily a pitch here. It's more of a case of we are accepting additional beta testers to join. It is a paid beta testing, but it will give you a massive advantage over competition because we can show you the strengths and weaknesses of your catalog against your competitor's catalog for each of the ranking factors that make a difference to your subcategory. And for each search term, so that you know exactly what to tweak and tune. This is not just, hey, how do you rank against? It's, do you have, think of it like those listing optimization tools that says, hey, you're 80% optimized. Well, this is like that, except on steroids. It's specifically for how do you optimize. It's like an A9 scorecard as far as how do you do against your competitors. So deepm.ai, we have a request demo. That way you can schedule a quick interview just to assess. You and I can have a conversation and we can say, okay, this is a good fit or it's not. That's it.
You said you were going to mess up. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, I try to mess up in every presentation I do, so I apologize for letting you down.
No, it's all good. I honestly think that's one that I'd almost just like, once the replay sent out, just go back through what Brian was talking about, because I understand that a lot of this sounds super complex, but if you just take it one piece at a time, like
I will say it's like once you honestly, it took me a while to get my head around what we were looking at. And we continue to find every single month we find new things that substantially change how I would previously have taught how to promote and how to rank well. And to have this level of detail, this is, for those who are using tools like the Helium 10s and Jungle Scouts and Data Dive and Data Rova and some of these kind of tools. This is kind of like a third tier extension where like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout would be like level 1 kind of research. Data Dive and Data Rova would be like level 2 analysis, which is awesome tools, by the way. This is like, if you really need to get down into the weeds and really need to know what are the fine tune that I need to do in order to beat my competitor for search ranking, that's where DeepM comes in.
Looks like we do have a question. How do you parse out search sales versus external? It's a question from Bart.
So we're not doing external just yet because external would be part of that the tacos, right? That's what's going to show up in business reports. But Amazon doesn't do a good job of illustrating to us where it comes from. You know, you can pull things in and say, hey, 10% of your sales came from email promotions and 20% came from social media. They don't like to go into any kind of detail. We are researching methods and working with off Amazon promotion partners in order to test things, mostly not necessarily to pin down here's specifically what the external sales are, but more of which external methods and platforms have a greater influence, have a greater benefit. And so I think some of the external stuff that I would love to do for omni-channel, we're going to be expanding DeepM out into omni-channel, to multiple systems, Amazon, Walmart, all TikTok, all that. But for now, we're just focused on Amazon US. That's part of our beta program. Cool. All right. Let's stop the share there.
Oh, sorry, I was muted for that question. We got another question from Bart. So how do you get the ad sales plus the search sales? That's what she's asking.
So your ad sales are going to primarily, and again, this is an 80-20 or 80% kind of thing, because there's no report that is completely accurate and thorough from Amazon. The ad sales you can pick up through, I would recommend starting with something like search term impression share. That's primarily going to be just your sponsored, right? We have a whole research product project related to answering for real, not just theorizing like we have in the past, but answering for real. Do sponsored brand ads actually move the needle when it comes to search rank on specific search terms, and why? That's the biggest question that we get answered, why things happen with DeepM. So we're going to tackle that one. That's one of our frontier questions we want to tackle. So it's sponsored brands. Sponsored brands, it's either sponsored brands or sponsored display that also has search term impression share, but just use like sponsored ads, search term impression share to identify your ad spend and ad sales at the search term level. And then from a search sales level at the search term, you would use search query performance, starting with the brand search query performance report, and then digging deeper into your to the ASIN level search query performance. We also look across multiple weeks, months, quarters as well. So that's a better way of looking at trends to adjust for seasonality and that kind of stuff, which we also do.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear more about it going forward.
Oh, I could spend 2 days just going into the weeds on this, but I'd lose most people. But I would love to invite that conversation if it happens.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you on again for another masterclass after the beta.
Go. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Hey, Kusha, are you ready to go?
Yep. Yeah, you want me to go ahead and share my screen?
Definitely.
Awesome. So let me just present this here. Cool. So yeah, I'm Kusha. I'm from Kazam. I'm going to talk today about how to stop your competitors from the unfairly gaming of reviews, which I'm sure many of you deal with probably on a daily basis. So the two main forms of abuse we're going to talk about, mainly the first one here is obviously the merging of unrelated variations. That's a big problem I keep seeing over and over again. And also I have seen some where they take over a zombie listing from another country. So we'll talk about that as well. So the first way I've found to be able to identify the merging of unrelated variations, basically you go to your inventory tab from Seller Central. Then when you go to manage all inventory, there's a button there next to add a product in the US marketplace that says add a variation. You want to go here and click that button. Then what you do is you want to take your competitor's ASIN, the main ASIN that you see on Amazon, and you're going to highlight this bubble here that says add to or update an existing variation family as if it was your own ASIN. So what you're doing here is you're going through this process, through this variation wizard, as if it's your own. It's not going to do anything to your account or your own product catalog or anything, but this what it's going to do is going to reveal the variations connected to that ASIN. So when you go through here, you enter that ASIN. I plugged in some example here of one I found from a Black Cat Chinese seller selling hearing aids. You plug in that ASIN, and then boom, it shows you an ASIN, which is the kind of a number string here, the one you see starting with 173. And it looks like that's actually a podcast. It's not even a product. And it's from the Amazon Brazilian marketplace. So sometimes they get really crafty like this. They're taking basically ASINs, not even just from the same marketplace. They took an ASIN in this case from a different marketplace and then merged it as a variation with their US marketplace ASIN to game the review. So basically what they do is they go with a new product, and overnight they go from 0 to like 5,000 reviews, and they have like a perfect star rating basically overnight by doing this. But this is the key first step here, because you have to, in order to report them effectively, you have to have this information. Otherwise, Amazon's just going to basically strike it down. So you have to have this info. You have to know what those two ASINs are, the ASIN that the competitor has of the competing product, and then the ASIN of the unrelated product, so you can report both. Here's also an example from the product details page. Very obvious here. You can see the person here says like purchased from my mother based on the reviews. They lied because they ended up receiving a junk product, but the reviews tricked them. So it's not really good for anybody, for these competitors doing this. But you can even see here down below, this is a dead giveaway where it says top reviews from other countries. You can see here the review is related to, I had translated this as well, but this is related to completely different type of product, has nothing to do with hearing aids. So very obvious here what they did here. And a lot of times you could even see here that this example doesn't show it, but sometimes you'll even see photos, reviews showing photos of the products, and you can clearly see that they're unrelated. So how to report? So the steps that Amazon wants you to go through, you can't really go through seller support. You could, but they're always going to direct you to do this first to get a complaint ID. So what you want to do is you want to go to your go to performance, and then the account health page, and then there's a report abuse link that's kind of hidden there, and you'll see that like on the upper left of the page that I've kind of shown here. You click that link, it takes you to a lot of options here. The one you want to expand is the one that says product detail page violates Amazon's policies or is misleading customers. So that's the one you want to basically click the drop down, expand the options from there. The one you want to select in this case would be the product is incorrectly added as a variation of another product listing. Then from there, you're going to enter the ASINs of all the variations, the related and unrelated, from the variation wizard step that we talked about. And then in the text box, you're going to say something along the lines of like the seller has merged their ASIN blah, blah, blah with the unrelated ASINs in order to game reviews. Please unmerge them. You're going to say something like that. Immediately, you should receive an email, like an automated email regarding your submission. It should have a complaint ID, and you're going to need that complaint ID because a lot of times I've seen this happen quite often where you get an auto response, and even in that initial auto response, when you get that complaint ID, they're going to say something like, we cannot take action because, there's, no, the selection that you selected in terms of the report is not applicable or something along those lines. And I think this sometimes has to do with the fact that the variations that you added, if they're from different marketplaces, then they may not be able to take action. So what you would want to do from there is you'd want to open up a case with seller support. If you have SaaS Core, you could escalate the case through your SaaS Core rep, but you create a case with seller support, provide the complaint ID, and let them know basically with a little more detail even of what's going on. And you could provide links to the listing. You could provide a link to the other listing from the other marketplace, and you can clearly show how they merged the reviews from there. In some cases, they may ask you to go to the other marketplace. So they may say, hey, you know what, this is the US marketplace. It looks like this other variation is from the Brazil marketplace. You may have to log into your Amazon Brazil account and then go through the same steps of reporting abuse from the account health page and getting a complaint ID and doing that there. And then if that doesn't work, again, going through seller support in that target marketplace. But this is very, very common. I see this, pretty much every day happening. And then the big annoying thing is that even when they do take action and Amazon unmerges them, the Black Hat seller just remerges them again, basically like within a few hours or a day or two. So you have to just make sure to stay on top of it. And if you have a seller support case open, don't let them close the case. Like try to keep, viewing it. And if you see the next day the seller has remerged those unrelated ASINs, then just reopen that case. Because if you wait too long, then you can't reopen the case and you have to create a whole new case. And it's better to just keep that one thread going. So I would try to keep that open, keep tabs on it. I've had some cases that have been going for months because they take action, they unmerge them, then the seller remerges them, and then I have to basically go and report them again and again, over and over again. I just don't understand why Amazon can't, figure this out and just stop this from happening completely. But it is what it is. But this is a very useful thing. I know a lot of sellers maybe weren't aware that you could find those variations through that variation wizard, but that's definitely one way. Also, one thing I'll do too is I'll just search. If I can't figure out what the other product was, I'll search one of the reviews. I'll take the title or the body of one of those reviews, even if it's in another language, and I'll go to Google and just search it. And a lot of times you'll find the original listing, showing the original ASIN and content from there. And you can use that when you're reporting them via seller support. Zombie listings, I don't see this as often, but basically, again, you want to do what I just mentioned, copy the headline or the body until you find that matching review. And then from there, in the URL of the search bar, you should find the original ASIN. And so that's where you can show that, like, hey, they basically took that listing. You'll go to your account health, the same process of reporting abuse, except the option you're going to select is product detail page was changed to represent a different product. So basically they took something and then changed it to their new product. They changed the information. And then you enter the ASIN and then describe how, hey, they changed this product from a podcast to hearing aids or something like that, whatever it may be. And then you'll get a complaint ID. And then from there you can, if you have to escalate it or go through a different pathway like seller support or SaaS core, you can do that as well. Any questions on these?
I'm not seeing any so far in the chat. I do see somebody saying this is very helpful though, and I can agree on that one.
Yeah, I know it's a big pain. I deal with it literally like daily. And
I see it all the time. And
yeah.
I was wondering what they were doing because I'll see, reviews for products that I'm like, there's no way that's even correlated, or these reviews are from way before this product even existed.
Yeah, exactly. It is frustrating, and it's like, especially if you're spending a lot of money with SaaS core, like I pay with my account, I pay for SaaS core, and sometimes I hit roadblocks. Like I had a roadblock where they're like, hey, this other, unrelated variation is from a different marketplace. And so that's where I learned I had to go through these hoops of going through to the other marketplace. And sometimes the other marketplace will tell you go back to the US marketplace. So you're kind of going in circles. So it's really frustrating sometimes, but you just have to stick with it. And sometimes, I haven't tested this myself, but I've seen other people go through other pathways. Like you can go on Twitter/X and you can go tag, Amazon's various accounts there and let them know what's going on. And, I feel like when you publicize it a little bit more like that, then they're a little more receptive to taking more permanent action probably. So that might be another pathway as well to just expose what's going on because they don't want the negative publicity. So that might be a pathway. I've seen some people do it through the seller forums. When I never personally ever used the seller forums, but you could post it through there, and then Amazon's team there could investigate it. I feel like the pathways that I've described today are probably going to lead to a faster resolution because you're getting a complaint ID, a case ID, things that you can kind of follow up on. And stick with, whereas the other stuff is a little more nebulous. You don't really know when are they going to take action. Are they taking action? Emailing jeff@amazon.com or whatever people used to do back in the day. I don't know if they will take any action doing that or not. So it's super frustrating. It's like, we expect these other sellers to kind of play by the rules, at least for the most part. It's like we need a fair playing field. For someone to come in and go from 0 to 5,000 reviews overnight is not fair. And it's not good to the customer either, because then the customer, over time, the customers are going to come to Amazon and they're going to think, what are all these junk products? I don't trust all this junk on here anymore. It devalues the marketplace as a whole.
Yeah, no, and I think the route that you've defined here is it's much more like targeting. It gives you more of a timeline, like, hey, this thing should actually be being worked on because I've already created the cases for it. But going to send something to their X account or something like that, it is a little less defined as in if or when they're going to resolve that sort of thing. But hopefully the publicity gets them to take action a little bit faster on that.
Yeah, exactly. And you could do all of the above. Like if you really wanted to be aggressive about it, you could do all of the things I mentioned, plus, try to share it more publicly, plus publish a press release, or, you could do a lot of things. If it's, if it's impacting your business enough, it might be worth doing all those things just to get it out there so that they pay attention. Because I'm sure they get a lot of reports like this. But I'm just confused why Amazon's just not taking permanent action. Like, I don't know why they're not taking these sellers' accounts down, why they're not taking the products down. Some cases I see that they took the product down and then the product resurfaces and comes back up a little bit later, maybe a few days or even a month later, they somehow come back up. So, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they have a bribed employee on the inside at Amazon, the black hat sellers. I have no idea. That's probably the case if I were to guess. But yeah, this is our best defense right as of now, to use these tools to go and report them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So one thing I did want to share today about Kazam, wanted to offer a special offer. We're giving 20% off for everyone who've used this webinar, Seller Hacks for 20% off at gokazam.com, plus a 7-day free trial. Our pricing is very inexpensive already compared to the competition. For those who don't know what Kazam is, we're an AI-based PPC software that actually reduces your ACoS as your products rank higher. So our software actually tracks the rankings of your organic rankings of your products, and then it will actually optimize your bids and reduce your ACoS. Because in many cases, I know we're getting gouged as sellers with all these inbound placement fees and short-term storage fees and long-term storage fees, and every year PPC costs seem to keep going up too. So I designed Kazam and created Kazam really about a couple of years ago with the intent to try to optimize profit margins for sellers. And in many cases, it doesn't make sense to spend a ton of money on PPC for keywords you were going to get the conversion from anyway, because you're already ranking high for it. Also, we added a new feature recently. You get your own AI personal live chat assistant inside the dashboard. So you can actually, it's very cool. You can interact with the AI, almost kind of like OpenAI, like ChatGPT. It is actually based through ChatGPT. But basically, you can get insights about your campaign performance. You can actually ask it for recommendations on how to improve your campaigns, any keyword suggestions, or target ASINs. And then it can actually execute those changes just like a real media buyer, but without having to pay thousands of dollars a month for a real media buyer. You're paying a couple $100 a month or less in this case to have the AI do all of that for you. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. I don't know if there's any questions here.
I was looking out in the chat for questions. If anybody in the chat does have any questions, just this is the time to post those now. Kusha, could you stick around for a few minutes on the back end just in case any questions pop in?
Sure, absolutely.
Presentation. Awesome. I'm not seeing any now. So if you do have questions, just put those in the chat. He's gonna stick around for a minute. And Adrian, are you ready to go on your presentation?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Yeah, okay. Can you see me actually?
I can.
Yeah, okay, great. So, okay, I'm gonna share my screen. First, I wanna apologize because English is not my first language, and also I'm not really experienced in presentations. I'm just the most extroverted from our side of the team. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Share. Can you see it now?
I can see your screen. Take it away.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about today the importance of PPC funnels in Amazon and how to implement them. We're going to talk about the introduction to Amazon PPC. It's going to be a really quick overview, introduction to the PPC funnels. So it's going to be a broad explanation because there's a lot of stuff into it, but you can get the hang of it from this presentation. About me, I personally have managed over 10 million in ad spend. My other colleagues are more experienced than me. And we created Ad Fixer, which is the software for PPC automation. So what is Amazon PPC? I'm sure everybody here knows it, but I'm just going to have to say it. You pay a fee to Amazon, so they show your product for a keyword. that you paid to rank on, not rank on, but show yourself. So if you're selling a water bottle, people type in water bottle and your product shows up and you pay for the click. Today, we're mostly going to be talking about PPC funnels for sponsored products, mainly keyword targeting. Yeah, the PPC funnels, the concept is it's a more structured approach to PPC. So you're not creating random campaigns. You actually have a purpose. It works for launching products. It also works for maintaining your current tempo. How they help you in the long run? It's a more structured approach, so you can actually rank higher because you filter out all the keywords that are not working for you. So how does it look? In our practice, we use a 4-stage campaign funnel, in some cases 5. We call them discovery, research, performance, and ranking. You use discovery and research to filter out the keywords, the search terms that are not working. So imagine this, you have a whole variety of different search terms, and you want to try every one of those search terms. The way to do that properly, what we have seen in our practice, is create an auto campaign, create a manual campaign, which you can use broad, you can use phrase for the manual campaign, and find all the search terms that are working for your product. The structure of the campaign funnel is like this. You have 4 campaigns for one product. You can also have more products in those 4 campaigns as ad groups. So you have ad group and the product into those 4 campaigns. We call them discovery, research, performance, and ranking, but you can call them whatever you like. It's 1 auto campaign and 3 manual campaigns after that. So the discovery campaign, you create an auto campaign on Amazon. You can use the suggested bids that they have. If you have a more passive approach, you can go 10% lower than those bids, which will result in you're not gonna test out as fast as you would like because you're not gonna be showing up that much. If you like more aggressive approach, you can go with 10% over those suggested bids for the targets in the auto campaign. For the research, you can go into brand analytics, let's say, and look up all the search terms that are related to your product and look how they're performing. So you can find out the ones that have high volume. You can add them as broad or phrase here in the research campaign. Broad, for those of you that don't know, is you can find a lot more search terms because it's a more broader approach. So let's say in the example of the water bottle, you're going to have a lot more search terms that are related to a water bottle keyword that you are using in that campaign. Phrase is a more targeted approach. So you're not going to have so many random search terms. If you are sure what you're doing, phrase is better. If you're kind of in the testing phase and you don't know what's working for you, you can go with broad. Performance after that is where you store all the search terms from the previous campaigns. So when you find the working search terms for your particular product, you get those search terms and you move them up in the next part of the funnel, which is performance right now, as exact. So you can go into the search terms report for those campaigns. You can find out the search terms that are working for you. It really depends on your case. Maybe you're looking at you want 30%, 40% ACOS, you find out the ones that are working for you, and you move them up in performance as exact. In performance, you don't use broad and phrase, you use exact. And you already have the bid because you in the search terms, you can see what was the bid that you were selling on. So you can use that bid in performance. And performance is a more targeted approach. You're not going to get as many impressions, as many clicks, but the keywords that are going to be there are going to be working better than the ones you filter out beforehand. So performance is kind of like the final step before you move on to ranking. You can set up different criteria. You can look at when you have, let's say, 15 sales in 1 or 2 weeks, that's going to be your main point before you move it up in ranking. And ranking is going to contain all the keywords that are going to be working for you. So we call them the breadwinners. After you find out the keywords in ranking that are working, you allocate most of the budget to ranking and performance campaigns. But what we suggest is don't leave out discovery and research because You can find out different, maybe there's going to be something trendy. It depends on the product. You can have seasonality that the auto campaign captures. So you can leave out 15% to discovery of your budget, 15% to research, and the rest of your advertising budget, move it up to performance and ranking because you already found the keywords with the right bits that are working for you. So how do you go with optimizing those campaigns? You already have your auto campaign and you already have your manual campaign, which we call discovery and research. When you create them, you have to leave them at least 1 or 2 days to see how they're performing. Don't change the bits, don't change nothing. And after that, go into the search terms. See what you can find out totally irrelevant search terms. You have to remove them, of course. And you can use negative search terms. After that, find out all the search terms that are working. So let's say if you have a search term with 15% ACOS, it has over 5 sales. Usually you have to have a number of sales before you make a decision, because you can't base your decision on 1 or 2 sales alone. You have to have at least 5 sales to base a decision on. And when you find a keyword that is working, you moved it up in the next part of the funnel as exact. So that way you filter out all the search terms that are working and you can allocate all the budget to them. Because in the first 2 stages of the campaign, in the auto and the manual campaign, the budget is going to be, I don't know, in a matter of hours, it's going to be all out because you have so many keywords there, and these keywords can't really rank your product. When you have a separate campaign with 2 or 3 keywords that are performing well for your product, and you allocate most of your budget to there with the right bid, and you leave it like that for at least a month, then you're going to be ranking on those keywords. And for the targeting, for the actual keywords in the discovery and research, don't play with the bits before you made the search term adjustment. So first go into the search terms, remove all the ones that are not working, and after that you can play with the bits so you can lower the ACOS of the keyword itself. But don't do that before you adjust the search terms and remove the ones that are not going to be working. Of course, you can A/B test with different keywords that you find. You can use the suggested keywords from Amazon, see whether they are working, go into brand analytics, find the ones that people actually search for. You can play with that, but this is kind of the structure that you can follow to find the ones that are working. Yeah, tips, you can use the 5th campaign because most of the times when your product is new, you're going to have a search term that is totally relevant to you. So let's say if you're selling a water bottle again, the totally related search term to your product is going to be water bottle. But if you have 70% ACOS on water bottle, you don't want to remove that because you're not going to be able to rank on that keyword if you're not using external traffic. So you have to move it into a 5th campaign containing only those keywords that are totally relevant for your category. You want to rank on them, but they have high ACOS. So you move them up in a 5th campaign, which contains all those keywords, and that way they won't drain your budget. So they're going to be working in that 5th campaign, and you're going to have budget left to kind of test out everything else that you want to test out. Yeah. Do you have questions? Actually, I have to look. This is kind of a general overview of it. You have a lot more stuff, but if I go into a lot of detail, it's gonna take me forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's usually how it is when you get into things that are really granular, like different ways of doing these things. Does anybody have any questions for Adrian? Not seeing anything in the chat currently. If you do, now's the time. I am not seeing anything pop up currently.
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I can stick for a while if something's gonna pop up. But yeah, as you guys like to call it, we have a mafia offer for this community. So only today we offer a lifetime access to our tool. So what we do with AdFixer, we do that kind of more in-depth PPC automation. So we do that for small sellers. We also have custom plans for agencies. So for agencies, they can tailor their different algorithms to their needs. But for the beginner sellers, we don't offer them because most of the time they're gonna mess something up when they have access to it. So it's plug and play for that. Yeah, only today we offer a lifetime access. So if you scan the QR code and you go into our website, you can get lifetime access, which means you can use the tool forever. And also it comes with support. So we have weekly meetings with everyone that uses our software to kind of analyze what is going on. If they're beginners, we tell them in what stage they're in, what is going to be happening. We help them pick a strategy because they have to choose different strategies. And yeah, we kind of monitor everything and try and help out as much as we can. I can't really hear you if you're saying anything.
Sorry about that. I was muted. I dropped that link in the chat for everyone in case you're just on your computer and you'd like to click through directly to that. You don't have a phone handy. Either way works. But if interested, you can access that in either place.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with that anymore. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to present. I appreciate it. It was a great presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, Adrian was our final presenter, everyone. So I am going to be closing this one out here. And if you didn't hear Seth earlier, if you missed any part of this presentation, you can always access the recordings to all of the masterclass presentations at www.postpurchasepro.com/MC. I'm adding that into the chat as well. And when you go to postpurchasepro.com/MC, you can also see that they are going to be doing a presentation tomorrow. We had done one last week about Google Ads with one of our friends, but it was more of a short notice presentation, but it seems like it was very popular, and by popular request, we're going to be doing another presentation about this again tomorrow. So if you have the time around 1 p.m. Eastern, make sure to stop by and look forward to seeing you there. See everyone. Have a great rest of your day.